actually remember being in LA doing a lot of different bands, and I was never really quite satisfied. I mean, there were good things that I learned and took from those bands, but it just wasn't totally fulfilling. And I was like, there has to be somebody else out in LA that has, you know, a like-minded goal and dream musically. So I remember, I think it was going to musicconnection.com and punching up like shredding double bass metal band or something, and I found Zoltan's ad that he had placed online.
That's how we put together the band. I just put out an ad, like I was looking for some crazy ass shredding drummer, right? Heavy metal, double bass, whatnot, and he was one of the guys who answered. And once I went to see him, I realized like, oh my God, I know this guy. So it was kind of instant. We started to work together. He was the first member of the band, you know. It was the two of us ironing out. I had like 9-10 songs, and with him, we worked out, you know, the final thing.
We had the same vision, and immediately we just went to the studio and started to work on this record. Like, look, we're not gonna go and make a demo. We're not gonna shop 3 songs and play in a whiskey and hope that somebody will give a shit and come and promise us the world and says like, you know, like, dude, we're gonna hook you up, man. We really just wanted to do what we wanted to do, and you know, and we recorded this material without any producers or anybody helping us. You're in the middle of this cesspool of musicians, and it's like, what the fuck is going on in this town? Like, you either have a good musician who, oh man, you know, how much you guys gonna pay me per rehearsal? Just get fuck off, dude. Yeah. That's what it came down to, the music scene in LA. Because everybody's looking for a ride, and nobody's willing to lay down the bricks and actually start a band from scratch. And that's what we did. We came to this agreement between me and Jeremy that, look, you know, we really have to have people who are absolutely 101% on board. This was the same time when we were looking at Matt, actually. There was a band in Hollywood. There was a band there where, you know, they could sell out the whiskey. And that was a big deal, you know, in Los Angeles at the time. It was like a band that may go somewhere. They were, you know, just playing the circuit and had enough people to come that they could sustain themselves, but it didn't really go any further, and this band fell apart. We kind of went and scavenged, you know, like the parts. Okay, who can we get from here? And that's how we found Matt. It wasn't kind of like a situation where, you know, somebody comes to you like, hey, I have this great idea and it would sound like this. You know, it was like, here's the music, this is what we're doing. And then he started to come to rehearsal, and that's how Matt started. So now there was the 3 of us.
No, just everyone should remember that, you know, being the bass player is the best job in the whole band. We're actually cooler than everybody else. Don't let the guitar players fool you.
This is how you keep guitar players in check.
Behind, right? Wait for
Metalcore,
finish.
small bat,
You just
take a knee.
Ivan was on the crosshair since forever. He's still on it, but just a different kind. He was, you know, I saw him in 2003 Ozfest, I think, and thought like he was a monster. I thought, wow, this guy can sing, this guy has stage presence, even though, you know, they have paint and whatnot, and that was the deal in that, you know, that band he was in, but I could just tell, I always knew that he was the guy. He was going through some stuff, and when I sent him the material, and it took some time to get him to Los Angeles, and you know, the guys, I already had, you know, Jeremy and Matt, and they were kind of impatient, and they're like, well, just fuck this guy, let's you know, let's look for somebody else, let's try out some other dudes. And I was the one who was insisting, because when I saw him, I knew that, oh my god, this is something, you know. So when he came to Los Angeles, it's pretty funny that we actually kidnapped him. So I cancelled his plane ticket from LA back to Denver, and you know, we told him like, hey man, just let's go down to the studio and let's record some stuff. Let's hear how you sound on recorded material, right? And he recorded one of the songs, and then I'm like, wow, that's really nice. Let's do another. And now all of a sudden there were 3 songs already. So kept pushing him like, you know what? We already have 3. Why don't we just keep going? So technically we kidnapped him and kind of conned him into finishing the record, you know. And as I said, Ivan is kind of the guy. He's always 200 miles an hour somewhere. He just, you know, always going. So it's really difficult to grab him like, dude, focus. He doesn't like that, you know. He likes to do whatever he wants to do. That's him. So finally we finished our first record. It was almost completely done, and it was time to get the band into a rehearsal studio and start to get ready for, you know, live shows.
We were jamming in Hollywood at, I think it was Cole Rehearsal or something, with our first guitar player, Caleb. And really talented kid, good guitar player, fun guy, but he was like 17, 18 years old. Probably still living with his mom or whatever, so we'd end rehearsal and he'd just be standing there. And we'd be like, well, all right, what are you gonna do? You know, I'm gonna go to the bar. And then everyone's like, well, I'm gonna go to the club too, and I'm gonna do this. And he's going, well, I'll see you later. So, and we knew with the touring and a lot of the places we were playing that we're gonna have to make a change, which was funny because that was actually done when I was in New Zealand touring with another band at the time, and I basically came back to LA to get my email up and running again, and it was, hey, come over to Jeremy's house, we're having a barbecue and you can meet the new guitar player. So I learned pretty quick that executive decisions happen quick in this band, so I guess as long as I didn't get the one that says, hey, come pick up your stuff and meet the new bass player, I'm doing all right, yeah. So, but yeah, that's when we picked up Daryl, and yeah, we played with Daryl for years, did the whole way of the Fist tours, all of them.
So we made the decision that we're going to have to replace Caleb, and again, he didn't do anything wrong, and musically he's amazing. He was just too young. So Jeremy recommended Daryl. He knew him from Wasp, where Jeremy was hired for a second, and they played together. And I knew him from the Rainbow too, but not, you know, I never played with him. But Jeremy did, and he said, like, he's an awesome guitar player. Let's try him out.
Yeah, well, I mean, Daryl was certainly a vital part of the process and some of the trench digging that got us to where we are today. You know, I mean, he was there from the beginning, and he was with us a couple years. You know, over the course of time, you know, he started maybe butting heads with some of the members of the band and not getting along, and there was some friction, and you know, it just became obvious to us that maybe this isn't right for him. Maybe he should start his own band, because he still, you know, he had that passion. He wanted to be in his own band and do his thing and be the guy that was the guy in his band. So that, combined with the fact that, you know, there was some headbutting in this situation and some attitude stuff that wasn't really liked, we just suggested that maybe it was time for a change and that he move on.
Analyzing what happened and why we split with Daryl would be probably not fair, because, you know, he's not here to defend himself, and so it would be kind of one-sided, so I don't really want to dwell on it too much. But he came to a band that, you know, the sound was already established. We already had the record before he was here, and I had a very solid vision, like, this is the way we're going, and I'm not going to argue. Simply not willing to argue about this. But I think he was butting heads with Ivan as well, and so finally we got to the point where we just had to make the call.
I basically met Jeremy in 1994 when I moved to Los Angeles. He was like the first musician that I sort of became close to. As years went by and the projects that we had put together didn't connect, I sort of went one way and he went the other. I was presented with the offer to go and tour with some established artists. I took those gigs specifically because I was looking for not only the money, but the education and the opportunity to see the world and see what different touring environments could teach me. And so I sort of explained to Jeremy, look, I'm going to go do this. It's you know, it's pretty good money, and it's a chance to go experience some new things and whatnot. And I sort of split from the idea that we were going to do something together musically at that point by taking those gigs.
Jason Hook is a weird scenario, because he always, you know, this position, it was meant to be his, you know, and somehow we just missed each other, because when Jeremy and I started to play together, he brought me these CDs, yeah, basically. He brought me these CDs, and he showed me material that he was recording with this guitarist, right? And I listened to this guy, and I'm like, oh my God, can we get that guy, you know, as the other guitarist? And I mean, he was unbelievable, right? And also we have a very similar picking technique, so I was like, wow, I never really actually heard anyone playing exactly with the same kind of articulation I play with. So So it was like, wow, there's my twin brother. We need to get this guy.
I remember coming back off tour and having some time off, and Jeremy said, you know, I found this guitar player, lives in Hollywood, it's fucking wicked rhythms, blah, 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 blah. He played me some music. Now I'm going over there to write songs and stuff. And I said, oh, that's good. That's exciting. I was genuinely happy for the guy. And I said, you know, you gotta let me hear some of this stuff. And then when I heard it, I was like, that's fucking wild. And we were going after kind of a similar vibe with that really syncopated, articulate, heavy groove rhythm thing. And then now I'm hearing him, he's doing this with some other guitar player. I was actually a little jealous, to be honest, you know, because I was like, fuck! Now I'm gonna get left out. And I never forget, it was the night of the Viper Room showcase, because Viper Room is a place in Los Angeles that's intimate enough and it sounds good in there and it has a vibe where most of the record labels will rent this place, and they'll rent it like 6 to 8 p.m. so that they can roll from their office over to the Viper Room, which is right down the street from most of where the labels are. So it has been known to be sort of the place where the labels will block it out for showcase. And I remember going there, and this place was just slammed, stuffed with people. It can go okay, or it can go magical. And it was just watching this thinking, they're doing it. It's going off magic. Tonight is going to be that night. And Ivan was dead on, and the band sounded great, and it just came together perfect. And I remember looking around the room going, I wonder which one of these huge industry giants is going to be the one to make the phone call tomorrow morning, you know? And it wasn't too long after that I had found out that they had a deal offer from, you know, what was the firm at the time, which was the biggest company in Los Angeles, the one that was almost impossible to get to. And when Jeremy called me up and said, dude, we're doing something with the firm, I was like, oh my God, that's awesome. And then I hung up and went, fucking.
Zoltan and I are like yin and yang. We are very much the opposite, but in the same token, we really can't do what we do without the other. We bicker and we argue probably worse than anybody on earth, but at the end of the day, he's like a brother to me.
Of course there's going to be static and horrible arguments and rude messages and bad text arguments and everything going on, but it's all done in the interest of the band.
He's kind of like the general, you know, he's the dad, and I don't mean dad in a bad way, but he's the guy that's pretty much the business-focused guy, which every band has to have.
Zoltan is, he's kind of like the mastermind of the camp, you know? He's always thinking, always scheming, you know?
I usually wouldn't give him this kind of credit, just because I know he'll see it someday, but he is the brains of the operation, he really is. His work ethic is just outstanding.
Working with Jason, you know, I've known him like 15, 16 years. We've been in a lot of different musical projects together, and he's just an exceptional talent, man.
Jason is just such a perfect fit for this band. It's ridiculous. Like, he's always happy. He's got these weird little quirks, and
So he has a smell fetish, so that's kind of weird.
That has a smell. It smells like glue.
Does it smell like poop?
That smells like Elmer's white glue. I swear to God, smell it.
He likes to put his hands in weird places, so you don't shake hands with him. Just don't do it.
He's always buying some gear off Craigslist or something all the time. I'm like, dude, there's a party going on with girls or something. Would you like to come socialize?
Jason Hook, we found him on, probably you heard, availableLords.com. He was in a recycle bin. Well, it's his joke, I just stole it.
you will never have to worry about him on stage.
Stage volume, he likes to crank it. With that, we like, dude, really? Like, you just cutting bad shaped cookies out of my eardrum on this side. Can you like?
I mean, he's an ace.
He's really into his craft. He's a real positive guy. Like, everyone just really digs his energy. He's hilarious.
And when we write or when we record, it's like, doesn't matter which one of us did what. On the end of the day, we want the song to be great.
Anything I throw at him, he can do, you know? We don't have the typical two guitarists kind of, you know, battle. It's always about who sounds better on a particular part, and both of us always play for the song. It's never about check me out.
I've known Jeremy since 1994, and he was the first musician I met when I first moved to LA.
Jeremy is my favorite part of this band, hands down.
He's just an awesome drummer, very, very musical, plays for the song, you know. I find that a lot of drummers play to impress other drummers, you know, and that's why I sort of latched on to him right away. I thought this guy could be, you know, a player that I would keep close to me for my entire musical existence, you know.
We don't have a rehearsal studio. We don't sit around and jam for hours together. It's just not how this band is. You know? Working with Jeremy's great just because he's really good at keeping things simple yet technical enough for me, you know, as far as songwriting goes. And live, he's a machine, so like on every time. So it's good when you're a bass player to know you got a drummer thinking the same way.
The whole band is pretty much personalities that stand on their own, and when you have that, pretty often we have like little headbuttings, but it was stupid stuff. It's usually not musical. It's other things, like, you know, outside of that. Who ate my cereal? And let's catch this fly. And you know what I mean?
Without him, Zoe and I would never really be able to communicate. You know, he's always there in the middle trying to, you know, whack stuff over.
And he's the one who goes and, you know, talks to everyone like, hey guys, let's not fight over this and whatnot. So he's always the mediator.
He's one of the most phenomenal players on earth, and yeah, he's a buddy. I love the hell out of Jeremy. He's my fave. Let's not talk about Matt. He's a bass player. No, I'm just kidding.
It took a while for us to gel. I think I didn't know how to read his personality really. He just seemed like he was real on his side of the fence kind of guy, and I was like, does this guy not like me or whatever? But once I got to know him, he's hilarious, dude. He's just got the straight up tell you how it is attitude, and he'll package a scenario in 2 seconds. He'll tell you exactly what's wrong with it or what's wrong with you.
He's a hard edge kind of Chicago dude, and when he says something, it's not necessarily being presented the nicest way, so to speak.
It's like the big brother I never wanted. You know, he's always there putting his finger over me and telling me when I'm out of line, and he loves to pick on me. But at the end of the day, he's always got my back. So I never really take it too personally.
He pulls no punches, and he loves heavy music, and he gives 110% on stage.
He was there from the beginning, digging the trenches, and, you know, and when there is work to be done, he shows up. You know what I mean? It's a weird thing because everybody's personality in this band is kind of like tweaked. You know what I mean? It's a big fucked up machine that, in some weird way, you know what I mean? If this wheel wasn't crooked, then this would tip over. But or you know, that screw wasn't loose, then it wouldn't make the right noise. It's kind of like the fucked up machine that for some reason it works. You know what I mean? If you unplug any of these spark plugs, it just wouldn't work.
When we first started touring, I always wanted to go out and get attention from the fans, but I looked like pretty much every generic rock guy that's ever lived. I'm like, hey dude, will you walk the crowd? Because they recognize him even from a mile away. So we'd be walking and they'd start flocking to us and he goes, you good, man? I'm like, yeah, and then he would leave and I'd be like, yeah, and I'd get attention. But yeah, Matt's awesome, man.
He's one of the most talented, you know, singers that I ever met. In the same time, he's probably the craziest too.
You know what, Ivan to me is probably one of the best frontmen out there, and I don't even think he realizes there's a humble side to him that's a rarity that I found in a lot of singers, and he certainly has it, man.
Depends, I think, which personality you get which day. So, but no, it's good. I mean, he's an amazing talent, a great singer, good frontman, you know, and generally a fun guy.
And you know what you get with Ivan is the real deal. Like, he's pretty much an on-fire guy most of the time.
He's a born performer. He's very natural on stage, and I'm a great admirer, actually. Hi, Ivan.
The lyrics he writes is not something pretentious or imagined. It's his experiences, his life experiences, and it's always very real. And when he performs these songs, he relives it. So he will torture himself actually performing, and I think that is what makes him great, and that is what makes him exceptional and a rarity. But in the same time, obviously it comes with a token. He will walk off stage and he is the same fucking crazy guy. But you know, it's I think it's something that you can't separate it. You know, that's what who he is. He's that lost pirate that, you know, we always make these jokes like he's the guy who will come up with the idea like, hey, why don't we rob this bank and burn the money? And it's like, no, let's keep the money. No, let's burn it. He wants anarchy. He has to be in the fast lane, 200 miles an hour. He cannot just chill and veg. That's not him. He once said a very interesting thing to me. He said, you know what, I never had anything in my life, and the way that I dealt with it, I had to rearrange my perception. What important is not who I am, what I have, important is what I do. And I guess because he adopted this idea, so he has to do at all times. You know, it's either he's sleeping or he's up and he's going a million miles an hour. It's 10 or 0. You get, you know, there is nothing between. It's like we're monitor guys. You know, when I ask them, like, could you give me a low guitar? And it's like all or nothing, right?
Describe Ivan, I think, which is semi-controlled chaos, probably. Not uncommon to find him running around in the front of the bus in his underwear screaming Pantera songs.
And then you go out there like, what the fuck, man, and he's standing on top of the table playing air guitar. So it's kind of like, wow, really?
Because he always says, there's no I in team, but there's one at the beginning of Ivan's. And my answer every time is, yeah, well, there's 3 U's and shut the fuck up. So, but I love the guy. He's my brother, you know. He's that brother you wrestle around with, you know. Kind of that Boondock Saints kind of kid.
Like when he screams on stage, you can tell he's angry. When he says to you, like, put your hand in the air, you will, because you don't want to be singled out, because he's angry. You know what I mean? You don't want to be the kid in the back row like, hey dude, what the fuck is up with you? Because he'll do that.
We get signed really quickly, like maybe 5 or 6 shows in, so we knew we had, number one, a good record, but a good game plan. So that happens, and we're all excited, you know, and we really do know pre-production at all, if you don't know the songs now, you know. So we practice like once or twice, and, you know, we're all excited. We're getting our tour bus is coming, our tour bus is coming.
I was excited. It was awesome. Our first bus was this bluish purple and yellow Van Hool. It was amazing. I'm sure the DNA count and that was pretty impressive, but I didn't care, man. I was so excited to get out on the road, man. It was awesome. And you know, we launched full scale out on that Family Values tour with Korn, and we were playing to thousands of people a day, man. It was amazing.
Everybody up on your feet. Step to me, motherfucker. Simple it, run out of time. Step to me, anybody. Fuck your shit, walking my line. Step to me, everybody.
Oh, sight with the smoke. Oh, that fucking shout. You're fucking in trouble.
Put your fucking fingers up for me, Detroit! How the fuck you doing, people? I don't fucking believe you. How the fuck you doing? 5 finger! 5 finger! 5 finger! Don't you fuckers forget it!
So once Family Values was starting to wind down, we noticed that a couple of the dudes from Korn had come over and watched our set. You know, had really good shows on that tour and had a little buzz going. So they had come over and watched us, and it was kind of funny because one of my basses had broken, and Ivan has sent me a bass real quick. but they only had one 5-string in the shop, which was a K5, one of Fieldy's basses, but it turns out it was actually Fieldy's bass, like one of his extra basses, and he didn't even know, so now you know. And like he came over and watched too, and then we got an offer to go out on the Bitch We Have a Problem tour, which was an all indoor arena tour, like hockey arenas and stuff like that. So we went from the boiling heat dirt parking lot to this monster stage in this huge hockey arena every night.
You guys ready to set this fucking place on fire? Alright, I'm gonna do it now. Everybody on the floor go with it. Here we go. I said I'm taking back control. I'm taking back control. I'm taking back control. I'm taking back control.
Coinciding with the Korn tour, The Bleeding actually became a top 10 hit at radio, which then enabled us to launch our first headlining tour.
And we destroyed yet another tour manager, so he quit. Actually, he was fired, but we let him go, and then we immediately jumped onto our own headlining run. We were able to support a headlining run, and The Bleeding had done really well. I think it made it to like number 7.
It was really cool because we were playing like anywhere from 500 to 800 seaters a night, and it was awesome for us. I mean, we had just come off 2 opening slots on 2 great tours, and now we were the headliners, so it was a cool vibe, cool experience for us.
A pretty interesting tour in a 40-foot metal tube and dosed in alcohol.
Having a drink?
That's yummy. You want it, you got it, everything you needed and more. You said it, I heard it, give it what you wish for. Deleted, defeated, everything you... Stick your cock up your ass. You motherfucking worthless cocksucker. Got no patience for victims. Sick and tired of the whole fucking world. I don't remember.
Okay, check this out. Look at this. It says right here, Zoe's office. You can have the rest of the bus. It's saying, get the fuck out of here with nice words.
This, I'll win the fucking war.
What's up, yo?
Fuck you do it. This is back lounge. This is like VIP, and you are not invited. That's fucking beautiful.
Dosed in alcohol.
Could you get a hold of someone at the machine shop and have them, the band toilet, the wall is really close to the toilet. I took a crap this morning, and my knees were pressed against the wall, and so when I got up, I'd like push my face against like other band stickers to get off the toilet. So please see if you can talk to management about that. Please.
Here we are in Abilene, Texas. This place is insane. I'm just having myself a nice little bikini wrap and filling up nicely. So I'm gonna go do that.
Outside of Sedalia, Missouri. No offense to anyone outside of what we know, but you're all numb. Screw that. You don't understand me, and you probably never will. Probably never will. Tendency to self-destruct.
punch rolls in blue and yellow, it's fucking hard as a motherfucker.
Love me, hate me, isolate me. Every day that I'm alive, straight up mentally unstable. You don't have to like my life.
Dosed in alcohol. Dosed in alcohol.
What up, Death Punch, knucklehead, fucking shit, fuck.
Perfect. Hey, we're in Louisiana. We just played with Blacklight Burns. We're getting ready to go into Westport.
Here we go.
It's harder than it looks. This is perfect. All right, here we go.
This is the problem for all of you girls at home. You don't understand how tight we are as a unit and as friends and as men for that matter. So when you email and text one of us, and then you email and text another one, and then another one, guess what we call you?
Last night of the tour, our good friends Oblige came out, did a little tour with us. We wanted to say goodbye properly. So we started by wrapping their trailer for them. It's not the kind of wrap that pays the bills. It's the kind that makes it hard to get into the trailer.
Oh my God.
The van's completely wrapped.
The van,
they have a knife.
The van is completely wrapped in all things saran wrap and silly string. To make it even better, there are Oreos stuck to the windshield. That's gonna be pain trying to get that off.
And just for the record, sorry, Kaysen. I know it's your van.
Look at this thing, dude, completely trashed.
Yeah. Death Punch.
Death Punch, bitches.
Now on to phase 2.
All right, we're going.
What's about to happen? We have 32 cans of silly string for Oblige. Silly string.
Final,
I love
I
those
need
guys,
more.
but they're gonna get it right now.
The next tour we did was a support tour for Disturbed. They were getting ready to release another record, and prior to their summer touring schedule, so they did a whole spring run, and they asked us to go and open for them, and it was mostly theater, so we were doing like 2,000, 3,000 seat seaters with them, and that was a really cool experience. We were kind of told to leave them alone, like by management, like to stay out of the way, don't cause any problems, let them do their thing. And after like 3 days, they just came over. I think it was Danny and Mike and John came over and started beating on our bus door. And we answered the door. We're like, "What's up?" And they're like, "Man, you guys don't hang out, man. You guys don't party." And we're like, "Well, yeah, we're supposed to leave you alone." And they're like, "The hell with that. Get out here and drink with us." So the rest of that tour is pretty much chaos.
I mean, they had a huge fan base. They've sold millions of records, and I think their last 3 records have debuted at like #1 on Billboard. So they had a huge following, and it was a great opportunity for us to get it right back out there and introduce a lot of people to Death Punch, which may not have heard of us at that point. After the Disturbed tour, that led right into the first Rockstar Mayhem Festival, which was amazing for us because we were playing for like 10,000 kids a day sometimes. It was in the parking lot, it was dusty, it was grimy, it was hot, the sun was beating down.
It didn't matter if we played, at 2 o'clock or at 6 o'clock. It never mattered. I mean, we had, on the worst day, you had close to 10,000 kids out there, and our shows were great.
It was huge because our second single, Never Enough, was climbing the charts at that time, and I think it reached like top 10 as we were touring on Mayhem, so that was a huge leap in awareness of the band. It was a big step for us.
Everyone starts going, oh, who's this band, I love this band, and all the people that hated us came out and watched it and said, wow, these guys are good, high energy shows, and just touring on that, with amazing bands on that tour, and it was the first year they had it, with all the dudes jumping the dirt bikes and all that, so. But the festival organizers started to come over and watch too and take notice, and said, we want you guys to definitely come back and do another Mayhem. So we were just kind of a little humbled at that point, at least I was.
Yeah, I mean, everyone can appreciate a good underdog story, and that's kind of what we were. This band was that. I mean, we're on this indie label. A lot of people aren't giving us a chance, but all of a sudden we get a hit at radio, and then we follow it with another one, and we're doing these tours. We've done every parking lot, every small club, every, crappy condition place there was. We had done it, but I mean, Mayhem's when we really noticed a big change, man. Like the fans were showing up in droves, out of their fucking minds. They were awesome, and they just had this passion for the Death Punch, man. It was almost like our army, and you could just see this thing building and building and building, and it was almost like a sign of things to come.
We were coming off of Mayhem, and on Mayhem we were playing 10,000, 15,000, and at this point we had already 2 radio hits, The Bleeding and Never Enough and Top 10. So these big radio stations were gracious enough to put us on these huge festivals. I'm talking about radio festivals when you have 20,000, 30,000 people there, huge arenas, and it was another step up for the band of like even bigger crowds.
What do you think of my friend Bobby?
Is this your day job?
Yeah, this is my day job. How does it look like?
See your hands. This is called The Bleeding. Columbus!
The perception of the band was pretty much based on what was on the radio, because we had The Bleeding and we had Never Enough. They're kind of lighter songs, and the reason that they were on the radio because they could kind of skip by the censorship, so to speak. I mean, the heavier songs will never make it to radio, obviously. So they simply didn't expect what was coming. I mean, you have 30,000 people, and in a 30,000 people crowd, you're gonna have like 10,000 metalheads, right? And we hit the stage, and all of a sudden, these people would just from the side of the arena and from everywhere, just fucking swarmed into the middle, and all of a sudden, as we started, this huge dust cloud, covers the whole arena, and security was simply just not prepared for this, right? And I could see the faces that they were fucking scared. I mean, like people flying over the barricades, they can barely catch them. I mean, like you're talking about hundreds of them, just coming over. It was priceless just to see this happening live. And I mean, so many times we were stopped, like literally, the stage managers or the security run on stage, like pull the plug. I mean, we can't control the crowd. So that actually happened several times.
I'm taking back control. I'm taking back control. I'm taking back control. I'm taking back control.
Radio was pretty much the media that was responsible for success. I mean, we did our part. We toured our asses off. We played anywhere that was possible to play, but radio gave us really a break. There were these radio DJs, program directors who were like, you know what, we don't give a fuck. We play this thing because we like it. We think it's, you know, America maybe is ready for heavier music. We were heavier than what's on radio normally. And they gave us a break and they played us and it went off and it was successful. People took a liking in it.
Yeah, so we came off of that Mayhem tour. We were rolling, man. We were doing really well. And all the local promoters and stuff wanted to, you know, put tours together. So we ended up doing another headlining run that was our first large, like full-size headlining run. The kind of one that you start going, okay, we're a real band now, finally. You know, it's happening. We were able to do, you know, consistently fill up House of Blues venues.
We're selling out places like the Fillmore, you know, 3,500 seaters to the gills. You could not cram one more person in those venues, and it was just like that the whole time. I mean, I think we were on a 10.5-week headline tour. It was grueling at times, but it was amazing because we were playing for thousands of people, and it was just like the next level for us, man. It was getting pretty intense for us. It was awesome.
I'm taking back control! I'm taking back control! I'm taking back control! I'm taking back control! Go!
So after the headlining tour, I think we had sold like 350,000 copies or something at this point, and that's with little to no press at all. And we truly were like this underground indie thing that nobody really knew about. But and I think it was when Metal Hammer in the UK and Kerrang heard of us, they got right behind us immediately. They brought us over and put us on tour on the Defenders of the Faith tour. I mean, we're touring with bands like Lamb of God and Demu. It was incredible. I mean, Europe got it right away. They got right behind us, and they were right into it. It was funny because after that, you could see it almost reflect back to America and everywhere else. All of a sudden, we're getting more magazine press and stuff like that and awareness, and it was people were seeing this band for the first time going, well, who the hell is this band? They must be like this multi-million-dollar major label band, you know, or whatever. But we weren't that. We were playing every shithole, digging the trenches for years before this happened. But it took Metal Hammer and Kerrang to finally get behind this band and put us in the press, and then it just started taking off everywhere else.
If you compare us to heavy metal in the 80s, we are way heavier than that. So it's kind of, at times I laugh at it because it's kind of ridiculous when people try to like put us in a little box like what we are. Oh, they're not metal, they're not true, they're not... It gives a fuck, man. It's music, right? But if for category's sake, you have to put it somewhere, and we are a heavy metal band, you know. We are not extreme metal, we never would claim that because that's not what we do. But we are not a hard rock band, it's a heavy metal band, right? So it's somewhere in the middle. And Europe got it immediately. They just you know, they have a history. I mean, Europe always had certain genres of heavy metal that was, you know, was alive for 30 years now, you know. So they understood what we were doing. It wasn't something alien, it wasn't something different, you know. They understood it's a melodic heavy metal band, and for that, you know, they accepted it for what it is. And the press just stepped behind it immediately. They got it, they understood, and they just they just finally gave us a break.
It was just funny for us to see that once it was cool over there, then everyone over here said, oh, well, now it's underground enough, we like it. But it all took off, so it's kind of funny to watch that happen.
Anchorage, Alaska! This is your salvation! Whoa! Uda Brüsken!